Okay, now we focus on the all-important anniversary this week, and this is the 41st anniversary of the. Actually, Ambassador Encomienda called me and advised me to rephrase this establishment of ties, diplomatic ties with China, because he says that we've had ties with China over the past 70 years, and over a long history of the Philippines and China, back to the days of the Sultan of Sulu in 1417 when he traveled
to the age of the land bridges.
That's right. No? So, but what he explained is that this occasion is really the recognition of the two governments.
Yes.
After the Taiwan government was derogated to another status. I don't know how to describe it in diplomatic terms, but you were in that historic moment where President Marcos decided to open these relations. What do you recall from those periods? And were you part of some of the discussions at that time?
Well, at a certain level, yes. But the diplomatic negotiations were carried out by the diplomats concerned. But you can say it was a monumental step. If you recall, the Vietnam War was still aflame, and China was an active participant. Communist insurgency in the country was very active, and there was logistical support coming from the mainland. Taiwan had been a very close and strong ally of the Philippines. At the same time, the world was changing, and you had a president who had a very clear view of the future, and this was Ferdinand Marcos. And he decided to embark on a major diplomatic step, which not even the United States of America was willing to undertake at the time. If you remember, in 1972, February 1972, Nixon, Kissinger, etc., had the Shanghai communique with the Chinese leadership, and they agreed to consider normalization of relationship between Washington and Beijing. But it took them another, how many years? 7 years, in 79, to establish diplomatic relations. We did it in 75.
That's right. On June 9.
Yeah, and we're supposed to be a minor partner of the United States in sustaining the Western alliance, etc. So it was a very important step. Recognition of Beijing was important enough, but severing long-term relationship with Taiwan in order to recognize the One China policy was an even more important step. You know, this created some resentment, a lot of resentment in Taiwan. I was the information minister at the time, and I had to implement some of the technical details in implementing the One China policy. And I was attacked in the Taiwanese media for doing that. No? So these are some of the consequences. But I think we owe it to the vision of Marcos that we were ahead, even of the United States.
But this opening of relations with the People's Republic of China goes beyond the person of Marcos. It is a national achievement, and it should not be taken by the other administrations that followed, but that is what happened. They, in a way, sort of wanted to discard it and push it away.
Well, many factors can explain that. No, the ideological struggle is still there. The Marcos versus the others is still there, etc. But I think history has proven us right, and will continue to prove us right.
And seems that Duterte heeds that lesson of history.
At least as far as this is concerned, so far all the pronouncements seem to sustain our hope that this will fly.
Yeah, you know, we have a film clip. It's around 4 minutes of the visit of Marcos to China and meeting with Mao Zedong. For me, more significant there is the short part of the speech that was featured in this, was captured by this documentary, because there Marcos stated very clearly how that things to be learned from China, and then the position of Philippines and in Asia and the Asian century. So can we, are we prepared with that film clip, which is one of the most...
I have journeyed today on a mission for the 42 million people.
And Madame Marcos, daughters Irene and Aimee, and a select group of government officials and wives arrived to a rousing reception in Peking. The Philippine Party was one of the largest foreign delegations to visit the People's Republic of China. President Marcos, the first Filipino president ever to have visited Peking, made a journey of reconciliation and of hope, a passage into another world, alien in culture, massive in scale, radically different in political orientation. 2 hours after the arrival of the official party and the conclusion of the airport ceremonies, Chairman Mao Zedong himself received the president and his family. In a villa outside Peking, the meeting between the two heads of state lasted for more than an hour. It was one of the longer audiences given by the chairman in recent years. When the president told Chairman Mao that he had come to formalize relations with the Chinese government, Chairman Mao responded with applause and remarked, "It takes 2 hands to clap." The audience with the venerable leader of the People's Republic of China was followed by a meeting with Prime Minister Zhou Enlai. President Marcos described the premier as vigorous in mind and body, well-informed and in touch with the most recent events. But the responsibilities for the visit fell on the shoulders of Vice Premier Deng Xiaoping, who accompanied President Marcos on all his tours. Openness was the theme throughout the visit. Dropping the defenses of the past, the Filipinos had come willing and eager to learn from China. The Chinese matched the enthusiasm of the Filipinos with an almost extravagant show of hospitality to the delegation and an exceptional display of official honors for the president. The party which joined the president included representatives from diverse sectors of Philippine society, from business and the arts, from mass media and the universities, from the public agencies concerned with population control and nutritional care, agriculture and trade, local government and economic planning.
President Marcos' current visit to China, though short, has achieved complete success. His Excellency the President met Chairman Mao Zedong and had a friendly conversation. His Excellency also met Premier Zhou and Lai. Our two sides held talks on international questions of common interest and on further developing the relations between China and the Philippines.
Today, historical experience and realism both lead us to be less emotional and more objective. We would engage our emotions to do so on the basis of an authentic Asian identity. It is on this basis that we now look at the whole world, our region, and ourselves. And the old modes of thought can no longer sustain us, nor can they sustain any other country in Asia. And thus we must reassess our alliances. We must restudy our destiny. In short, go out into the world. We are Asians. We live in Asia. Our destiny is in Asia, and our thoughts and policies must be remodeled in accordance with these unchangeable facts.
The state banquet in Peking provided the occasion for recalling the friendly relations that had existed between China and the Philippines in the past and for celebrating their restoration.
We are Asians. We live in Asia. Our destiny is in Asia. That has stuck with me ever since I first saw this clip. But of course, our crew was wondering where you were sitting at the banquet hall.
If you go to the Great People's Hall, there's a picture there of that visit, and I'm still there.
You're still there.
Still there.
So what do we draw from this 30 years? No, 1975 to today is how many years? That's 41 years.
41 years.
That's right.
Well,
yeah. That's over half my lifetime, you know.
Almost half my lifetime. Well, we can, I think, congratulate ourselves for having made the correct step very early on in our history. Same time, we have to express regret that recent developments have failed to sustain the initial momentum that we gained. Because in the last so many years, China has become a world economic power. China is talking trillions of dollars to feed the economic momentum that is registering around the world today. But where are we?
Yeah. I wrote on an article, a column 2 years ago, and my title was China is a better ally, going back to history. Of course, others may not go that far, and in your column you said neutrality as an option. But neutrality to the Americans is already allying with the other side. You know? How do you think Duterte can manage?
Well, it's an idea that I think has to be considered as one of the possible options, because a real problem in this region is that there are so many hawks around the world trying to push us into war. And so long as you have military entanglements with one of the two dominant powers, you'll be drawn into this conflict. But what if we suddenly decide to have the courage to say, we will be neutral like Switzerland?
And I think we should. I'll just, this is one news item I was not able to read because we ran out of time during that portion on Asian news and analysis. This is from Vietnam News, and it says, accidents caused by bombs, mines to be prevented. In other words, the Vietnamese government is still taking action to prevent the bombs and mines from the Vietnam War from hurting their citizens. Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc asked the National Steering Committee for the National Action Program on Overcoming the Aftermath of Bombs and Mines Left Behind After the War.
Yes.
And it says here, it is estimated that some 30% of explosions are caused by residents illegally storing, trading, and sewing into bombs and mines. Because for whatever uses they have, they still... The other accidents occurred when children and local residents working in areas filled with bombs and mines are unintentionally detonated. In other words, how many years has it been since the Americans left Vietnam? 1975. The last helicopter left Vietnam. And that's, again, 41 years ago. And the bombs are still killing people there. Do we want that in our environment? And, of course, the Philippines being at the front line of American hegemonic policy.
No, Mentong, I don't think it's only in Vietnam, even in
Cambodia.
Europe.
Second
In Europe,
World War.
where you
bombs,
had the First and Second World Wars. The mines are still a problem of governments.
That's right.
The United Nations consider the mines still a big problem to solve. So, really, any advance towards peace should be welcome.
Well, well, you mentioned earlier, and I quoted your column about the Washington-based Bipartisan Center for a New American Century, saying that there seems to be some level of parity already of Russia, China, and Iran in terms of weaponry, tactics, strategies, and this neutralizes this. Hopefully neutralizes this bias of some Filipino pro-Americans or amboys pushing for this tension build-up.
I think in the Singapore and the Shangri-La dialogue, there'll be a new emphasis on the advanced weaponry of the West. No? They'll put on display, I was reading some dispatches saying they'll highlight all these advances in weaponry. But the other think tanks are saying something else, no? Okay, so you have to balance the picture. At the same time, you have to compete with China and Russia in their efforts to promote expanded cooperation around the world.
Yes. And of course, as a final question, there doesn't seem to be any awareness of what in our foreign policy community here, of the multipolar world that Russia, China, and even India, under the aegis of the BRICS, has been trying to promote.
Yes.
Maybe you should write about this, and it can be brought to President Duterte.
Well, we will try to do that, but your problem really is one of communication, no? The very nature of mass media. There was a book many years ago which said the media is American. I think to a great extent the media remains controlled by the West.
Yes, yes.
And it is almost treasonous
Yes, yes.
to think in other terms. And this has to change. No? We have to reach out to the other sources of information and analysis. No? Sometimes the facts are not brought out, but more than the facts, you have to bring out new ways or different ways of looking at these facts.
And that is why, Senator,
and this is the problem.
We have this show, a small start, Journeys, Chronicles of Our Asian Century. We source all our news only from Asian newspapers and media.
This is why I'm so delighted, Mentong, to be able to join you on this very important occasion, the 41st year of our relations with China. It's also the 40th year of our relations with Russia. No?
And Russia is offering free land for those willing to go to their eastern regions.
Okay.
So, well, anyway, we've run out of time. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Manito.
Kit,
Congratulations again.
And congratulations to the new government for opening up new opportunities for this country in the diplomatic front. Maraming salamat. Until our next edition.